apron on. The soft leaf cabbage. First we'll speak kimchi. If you can get your cabbage, give it a nice little rinse if it's got any dirt on there. Nothing too fancy. And start to slice it. Just slice it into nice, just cut it in half, slice it away like that. Just little chunks like that. Put it into your bowl and slice your daikon radish with your soft leaf cabbage. Put it into a bowl like this. Take a tablespoon of your sugar and a tablespoon of your salt. If you don't have unrefined sugar, use 2 tablespoons of salt and sprinkle that on top. I like to use a tablespoon of salt and a tablespoon of something like a rapadura, or this is a demura, I think that's how you pronounce it, but it's unrefined sugar. Just makes it really good, the two together. But like I said, if you don't have the sugar, just 2 tablespoons of salt or 1 tablespoon of each. Sprinkle it all over the top of it. Give it a little massage, cover it. Leave it for anywhere between 12 to 24 hours before we're ready to go. And that will draw out all its own moisture. So we won't actually, with this kimchi, it's a totally different process. This is watery radish kimchi. Each month we'll be making a different type of kimchi. So you will have enough kimchi to take you through for the month, and then you'll try a different taste one. There'll be ones where we put water and we throw the water away, we rinse it away. But in this case, we're gonna let that help draw out the moisture. And with that time, you'll have enough moisture there. I don't think you'll be able to see all that, but that's the moisture that's produced, and that's only been there for 6 hours. So if you can leave it, just do this like the night before that we're going to be preparing it, that will be perfect. Don't have to run exactly to your 12 to 24 hours, but just suit it in with your time frame. Get your cabbage, cut your green cabbage. This is your drumhead cabbage. Cut that cabbage right in half. With 1/2 we're going to use, and the other half you're going to cut so that you've got a quarter of it, like 1/2 of each, so an actual quarter of the cabbage. And those two will be what we'll be using into our tonic. The first half, a half a cabbage, will fill a 1 litre jar. The jar for the kimchi, something I didn't say, is that you can have like a 1.5 litre jar, you can have a 2 litre jar, you can have right up to a 3 litre jar. The trouble with 3 litre jars is you have problems storing them in your fridge. So it's good to just have the smaller size. You may, depending on your cabbage, if it's a big wombok, you'll need two bigger jars. So with your cabbage, keep your outside leaves, if you've got any outside leaves, because we'll use that as a weight. So with that first half, we're going to slice it. Slicing is very, very important. We don't want to go too thick. If we go too thick, it makes it too hard of a job for the microbes, and it will only ferment where the finer parts are. And we want this as gut-loving as possible. Everything that we ferment for 2 things. The first one is for health, and the second one is for taste. If you use one of those fancy processors and you can put your cabbage through and it does it really quick, it does it way too fine. When you have a really, really, really fine cabbage, it'll ferment so fast and the taste will be just far, not nice tasting, it'll be way, way too sour. So we cut it. So we cut it to a nice, just chop, and that it's nice, that it's not too fine and not too thick. As we cut, we put it into our bowl, and we just, for each lot that we cut, like a good handful like that, we just lightly sprinkle it with our salt. So we don't ever use the packet and tip it in. We just pick up our little fingers like that and just lightly cover the top of the cabbage. As we do that, we do a little massage so that that salt is all evenly distributed. We keep going until we've done the whole half cabbage, and then we cover it and we leave it, because that's going to draw out the moisture. Now, it'll take about 10 minutes to do your whole cabbage, So this is why if we can do it beforehand, we have it all prepped. So it'll all be ready. Now, if you think that massaging is just too much for you, you know, like some people have sore hands or they just don't want to sit there massaging. I find that is just a very meditative state for me. It's my meditation. I can just sit there and massage away forever. It's just a beautiful feel. But not everyone's going to share that same philosophy as that I have. So what you can do is you can just cut, lightly sprinkle with salt, put it into your bowl, cut, lightly sprinkle with salt, and do that all the way through until you've gone through half your cabbage. Cover your bowl, leave it the same as you leave your wombok. And the next day when we wake up, the salt will have drawn out the same amount of moisture as what we're doing with our hands. So that's what you need to do with that. And then just look at that. Isn't that just beautiful? Look at that. Oh, so beautiful. Then just cover that and put that to the side until we all get together in the morning. You can do this when you wake up. You can do it just for 10 minutes just before we come together. It doesn't have to sit there like the soft leaf cabbage does. It can be, you could just do that 10 minutes before we come together. But if you can do it, it'll just make it so much quicker that we're not just sitting here chopping and massaging, which is beautiful, but it'll take up that time. We can get straight in and put it all together and it'll be just beautiful. So that's that half. You can keep going with the exact same process with your other 2/4, and you can leave them together and put that into a separate bowl, because those ones we're going to make into tonics. So they will need a taller jar, preferably something like that, or just your 1 litre jar. 1 litre, 1.5, whatever it is. We're going to top that up with your clean source of water. So you'll need to have your water bottles there as well. You can cut up your beets. Now your beets, you don't need to skin them unless they've got chemicals on them. But if you're using a chemical-free beetroot, just leave the skin on, because those mighty microbes start in the soil and they right underneath that skin. You know, vegetables don't have a gut, but so that's where the first process of fermentation happens, right in the soil and right on your veggies. So, and it's quick, you just cut these into chunks. Sometimes you'll see me, I use cookie cutters and make them all pretty, just that's all eye candy for the camera, and put because we're not going to be leaving these ones into your ferment. This is your medicine in a jar. This is the tonic. This tonic is what we'll use to put into sweets. We'll put it into so much food, and of course we'll start off with just a tablespoon of it a day, and you'll see that this will do just wonders for your body. I've had people that have had gout and they've had all these funny little things that they've had for years. And the beetroot especially, is a liver cleanser, and it's just amazing what it does for your body. So chop up, remember your daikon? Did I tell you to put that daikon in with I don't think I did. So when you do your kimchi, when you're cutting that, you've got to cut your daikon and put in there as well. My apologies. So your daikon, you know, the big long white radish, that has to be sliced. The little piece that you'll keep off it, you will slice with your beetroot and put in with 1/4 of that cabbage, so that's ready to go. So that's that one bowl, and the other 1/4 of a cabbage, you can just leave that perfectly plain. So you've got 1 bowl with your 1/4 of a cabbage, 1 bowl with the other 1/4 with your beetroot and your little piece of daikon, and you've got the other cabbage ready to go for your sauerkraut, which has just got your plain cabbage and salt, and you've got your other one ready to go, the soft leaf, the napa or the wombok as we call them. You've got that with your daikon, with your tablespoon of unrefined sugar, tablespoon of Himalayan salt. Cover it and just let it draw itself. You can have something there ready so that we've got it to press them down, because we've got to have them compressed. We can't let any air come in. So something like a rolling pin, you can use your fist, you can fit that into your jar, or this is like a little plunger, it's just a little timber one, but something that you've got there that you've got in front of you so that we can press them all down before we seal them. You'll need to have your leek sliced up, That one will need to be sliced up, and just a little bit of ginger and turmeric that you'll keep aside. That's for your beautiful kimchi. So that if you can have that all done, don't panic if it's not done. We will wait for you. Your nashi pear, or if you're using an apple or a pear for your kimchi, if you can have that sliced up as well, just into little chunks is fine. Or you can be like this. These ones you can get a bit pretty because it's going to stay in there. You can get a little cookie cutter. I like using little hearts or little stars. And you can actually slice it and just get your cookie cutter and put it in the little bits of over you can put in as well. So that's that little fella. Now your turmeric and your ginger for our kitchen. Wow, this is something you're going to thank me. You're going to really thank me when you add this, because it's very good for pain. It's very good for your skin. It just glows. It also gives your food that real wow. I always say you take simple food to sensational food when you've got a little jar of fermented turmeric and ginger, especially when we make it into a paste. And you can do a little paste of it every week or every fortnight, have it in a little tiny jar in the fridge, and you can just add a little bit of it to everything from smoothies to treats to stir fries, anything that you on serving, you put a little tiny bit of it through and it just lifts that food. So what we do with your turmeric and your ginger, this is how much I'll be using for my 500ml jar. Just a good, well, that was my big knob that I cut in half, and not as much turmeric, but that's how much that I've got. So that gets covered in cool water. Now that needs to be in that cool water for about 20 minutes before that we start. So, but it doesn't matter if it's longer. It doesn't matter even if you do it all in one time you prep. I'm going to send you through these prep notes in written form as well, which will be more step by step. So don't get confused. It's all right, and anything at all. Don't think any question is ever silly. Just always shoot it to me, or pick up the phone, or send me a text. You've got all my details there. I want you to be comfortable. I want you to know what you're doing. It is a very easy process, and we'll do it together so that we get those wonderful results. And I'll see you really, really soon. I'm looking so forward to sharing all my love and some bacteria